Here is the real question. Why? Why does that switch turn on so easily for the bad boys? The ones who don't even deserve your love, but suddenly go off when it comes to the loyal, committed husband.
Welcome back, my kings. Thank you so much for the support and for the new subscribers. Welcome to the kingdom. Today we have another couples therapist that's going to give us some insight on what women really think about sex and how they use sex in relationships and in marriage. We're going to deep dive in one moment. I did a video about a couple of months ago. I'm going to leave that video at the end of this video. It was a couples therapist from Happy Wife, Happy Life. And she was explaining how women actually use this sex as a manipulation tactic. And we have another couples therapist, and she's going to give us some insight on how women uses sex and how they think about sex. So let's jump right into it.
Ladies, let's be honest. If there is no medical condition involved in the reason for your attitude towards sex, you know you have a switch. Well, this switch is a button you can just turn on or off, and when you want to, you can flip that switch with ease. But here is the real question. Why? Why does that switch turn on so easily for the bad boys? The ones who don't even deserve your love, but suddenly go off when it comes to the loyal, committed husband.
Why? Okay.
Because most women like chaos. They like that thrill. And I guess if you a good guy, you know, you're stable, you know, you act like you got some sense. You don't want to do all that fighting back and forth with it. And some women, they find it boring. But the bad guy, you know, just gonna totally ignore her ass. You know, I see you when I see you. You know, we'll argue because he knows the more that he get her revved up, the hotter the set's gonna be. Most women does find that to typically more exciting than the nice guy.
Now another question is, why was intimacy effortless before marriage, but now it feels like a chore? I mean, why does that happen? Well, at the start of a relationship, passion is intense, the excitement is there, the desire is real, and intimacy feels natural. But as time passes, something shifts.
I'm gonna tell you what ends up happening. That woman know if she not giving you sex at the absolute beginning, what's the odds on you want to have a long-term relationship?
Not gonna happen.
What's the odds on you actually wanting to marry her? Hey, if I'm already not having sex with you now, and the thought process is it's going to decrease as we get married, hey, that woman is not going to have any chance of pulling that man. Now, women can be delusional, but the women aren't idiots. They know that if I sex this man down, there's a greater possibility that he'll want to have me as a long time mate and even marry me, versus if I'm barely having sex with the man now, what's the odds on this man marrying me? And then he already know he's not going to have sex when we marry because we're barely having sex now. So it's a bait and switch. Let's continue, fellas.
The connection weakens, the passion fades, and before you know it, sex becomes rare, forced, or non-existent. So why does this happen? Let's break it down. Because sex isn't just an act, it's a reflection of how a woman views her relationship. And for many wives, sex becomes a tool rather than...
That's a damn shame.
Sex becomes a tool. That's the same thing that the previous counselor or therapist stated. Again, this is from two different races. If we want to go on races, two different, when they look like they're in two different age group, both of the women are saying the exact same thing. that women uses sex as a tool. Women like this that putting men on game. Hey man, let's go ahead and keep deep diving because this some dirty work, man.
An expression of true connection. Now let's talk about how sex becomes a tool. Sex is, for one, a tool for gratitude. This is so not good. Let's talk about something no one wants to talk about and no one wants to admit. Sex is something used as a thank you gift rather than an expression of love.
Damn.
Ever heard?
A thank you gift. So basically she's saying this like, hey, did you take out the trash? Did you mow the lawn? Did you paint the house? Hey, let me give you sex as a pat on the back. So that way I'll re-incentivize you to do another task around the house. And then she'll reward you with sex. Kind of like if you want your kid to clean up their room. When they clean up their room, you might give them a cookie. You might let them go outside, ride their bike, or whatever that mechanism is to make them clean up their room. In this instance, whatever task that you do, you might take her out to eat. So you finally spend the time with her. Then as a reward, she gives you sex.
I mean, ever heard a woman say things like, I should give him some tonight. I should give him some tonight. He's been so nice to me. And someone else would say, he took me on a trip, so I guess I owe him a lot. When intimacy is transactional, it loses its meaning. Now imagine this. A man provides for his wife. He supports her. He listens to her. He loves her. And if in the beginning she shows gratitude through sex, and it was all going fine, what happens when gratitude fades?
It was never about the man to begin with. It was what that man was providing. And as we know, the more that you provide, the less that it becomes a wow, thank you, and it's more so as expected. And so her level of sexual desire decreases because the things that you're doing now is that was once that she found, thank you for doing this for me. Now she looking like you should do this for me.
If sex was never about genuine desire, once the thank you wears off, the connection crumbles.
Are you kidding me?
Sex should never be a reward system. If it is, it's only a matter of time before it stops completely. So number 2, sex as a tool for security. Some women use sex as a form of currency for security. If a man provides a home, pays the bills, and ensures stability, intimacy becomes an unspoken exchange.
Yep. That makes sense as well. You like, hey, you taking care of the bills, you paying the cost to be the boss. So she like, hey, let me give you sex so you'll continue to do those things for me. Not that let me do this, let me have sex because she's enjoying it and she know that you enjoy it. No, she wants to give you sex because it's a obligation at this point because you're handling everything in the home, especially if you're handling things in a financial aspect. She feel like, well, this the least I can do. So it becomes a chore. And I'm like, man, if you ever in that scenario where she's doing it feel like a chore, like, man, you probably ain't gonna want it anyway because that energy is not gonna be there. No way.
If she feels safe, she engages. If she doesn't, she withdraws. But here's the problem. When sex is a trade, real intimacy disappears. If a wife only connects when the need or when she needs something, is she truly in marriage or just using her marriage?
It's an evil world we live in.
She's using it. She's using the marriage. She's using you because the moment that she feels like that she don't need you anymore, or If your money all of a sudden starts to slip, or you're not able to handle everything that you once was able to handle, oh, she's just gonna find somebody else.
Keep that a secret.
Because that's the only reason why she's there anyway, is because what you're providing. And so in exchange for what you're providing, she providing you the limited sex already. So if you stop providing, the sex gonna draw up and you're like, okay, well, she ain't getting it from me. She got to be getting it from somewhere, right? And what happens if I do fall off? What happens if I do lose my job, or, you know, my money start looking a little funny for a little while? Does that mean that she's gonna stop having sex? More than likely, probably so. If that's the only reason why she having sex with you anyway, it's because of the bills that you're handling. You stop handling them bills, there you go.
Let's flip the script. Imagine if a husband only gives his wife attention when he wants sex. How would that feel?
Yikes.
I know this happened, that some men do that, but their worth in marriage is reduced to what they provide. This is why many good husbands feel unloved, unseen, and emotionally abandoned.
Yeah, that makes sense, because you're just using that man. You just using that man as a financial gain, and every now and again you throw some at the man like, here, you should be grateful that I'm having sex with you. As long as you continue to provide for me, then I'll throw you some every now and again.
Bitch, please.
Not knowing that this man can actually get so much more if he was single.
He ain't lying.
But he's wanting to be with this woman, and this the thing she gives him. I'm only going to give it to you because you are providing. And once that provision or that man providing stops, the sex going to stop, or it's going to get even less than when it already is. Again, dirty work, man.
Number 3, sex is seen as a tool for comfort. Let's be honest once again. Every woman wants comfort, a stable home, and emotional security.
Yup.
A stress-free life. These are one of the things women want, but comfort requires effort from both persons, from both partners. A good man deserves to come home to a happy wife, and a happy wife deserves to have a husband who shows up fully in the marriage. But if a wife only engages in intimacy when she feels completely comfortable, what happens when life gets hard? What happens?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what's going to happen? That man never going to get none. That's what's going to happen. Happiness is a ebb and flow. You're not always going to be happy all the time. Life is always not going to be easy. Life always going to throw things at you. But if life got to be absolutely perfect for you to be intimate with that man, then that man never gonna get none.
Sorry, man.
I'm gonna tickle you again.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me, though.
And what if that man never wants to spend time with that woman, never wants to talk to that woman until whatever he got going on is perfect? She won't like that. And then she gonna end up finding somebody who will give her that time. So what's the difference if that man not having sex from his wife, but Lord forbids if he go outside to try to get that same connection with a woman, then he wrong, because she's not happy.
What if finances take a hit? What if stress builds up? What if there is conflict, or there are conflicts in one way or another? Definitely conflicts will come up. So what happens then? If comfort is the only motivation for intimacy, the moment things get tough, the marriage suffers. True intimacy is about connection and not just convenience. So number 4 is sex as a tool for having children. This is a hard truth, but it is a truth. Some women only desire sex for one purpose and one purpose only, to have children.
I don't know
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know that.
I know that's what sex supposed to be for, but come on, man, we not in biblical times, man. You only want to have sex for procreation? No. How many kids you trying to have? 15, 11 of them? Like, and then when they think that a kid is going to solve the problem, hey, kids brings more of that unhappiness that she was just talking about, because the kid does take a lot of time. You have to be real creative when you have kids, especially when they're younger.
They dream of a family, and they dream of a stable family to start with, a stable home and a future with kids. But once that goal is met and achieved, sex becomes less frequent and stops completely. Why? Because the mission is complete. But when a husband becomes just a sperm donor, the relationship loses its emotional depth. Now, the relationship has to be actually deep. That is what marriage is all about. But if a wife gets busy with motherhood, the focus shifts to the children, the romantic connection fades. Soon, the husband feels like a stranger in his own home.
Yeah, I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah. Men understand that kids do need a lot of attention, especially when they're younger. But you can't forget about the marriage. It's just, you can't do it. And a lot of women, kid has to come first because they need me. Like, well, that husband gonna need you as well. And if that's the approach that wife takes, that man is gonna drift further and further away from her until the point where he's not gonna want to be there anymore. But now they got a kid involved, and again, he's gonna look like the bad guy, because now that y'all have kids, now you want to leave this woman. But they're not understanding that since this kid has entered the picture, it's no longer about us. The marriage is just about the kids. And the marriage is also important as well as the kid as well. Men have needs just as much as the woman have needs as the kid have needs. I mean, everybody have their own different needs that they have, but it seems like for some men, once that kid arrives, the man's needs get put in the back burner, and that's when the marriage starts to crumble.
Let's talk about sex as a tool for financial gains. Let's be real. Some women use sex to secure a wealthy lifestyle. It's almost everywhere.
Them thoughts.
They engage passionately when there is a luxurious trip on the table, when there's an expensive gift involved in almost everything they do, when there's a promise for financial stability. But here's the question. What happens when the money disappears?
Well. Next question. See ya.
We know what happens. I ain't saying she a gold digger. We know what happens. She was only there for the financial gain. She was only there for the money. And when that money leaves, she leaves.
Hell to the yeah.
Oh, don't believe me? Just look at the percentage of NFL men that divorces within 5 years after they stop playing football. 80%.
What?
80% of the men that were married gets divorced within 5 years after they stop playing football, because them football checks stopped coming. She was never there for the guy. She was there for that money. And as a regular guy or a guy that's making some money, if she was only there for that money, unless you the richest man on earth, there's always going to be somebody that makes more money than you. There's always going to be somebody that have more money than you. So if she find another guy that makes more money, she probably going to be hopping on that. If your money stop, the trip stop, all the lavish vacations, all the going out to these expensive restaurants that you did to get it, if you don't do it to keep it, she gone.
Crickets, right? What really does happen? If a marriage was built on transactional intimacy, then what happens when financial hardship comes? So does emotional detachment. They come hand in hand. Love should never be based on what a husband can buy.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it for 10 damn years. Ain't I been saying it, Miguel? Huh? I've been saying it.
That's not love. If she was only there for the money, that was never love. It was a financial transaction. And once the transaction ended because you no longer have the money, then it's time to move on as far as that woman is concerned. It was never about love.
Intimacy should never be a business exchange. If sex is bargained like a contract, a marriage will never feel real. So then, let's talk about the dangerous cycle of scheduled sex. Here is where it gets worse. Some wives schedule sex just to keep the marriage going, just to keep the marriage running. It could be twice a month, just enough to avoid complaints. It could be just enough to maintain the illusion of a happy marriage.
On one hand, most people like, hey, if you don't get it scheduled in, it won't happen. There is some merit to that. But the other train of thought is, man, once you start scheduling like it's a doctor's appointment, man, where's that real excitement? Because you scheduling it like you about to go to school, but you about to go to work. Nobody should want to schedule sex, even if it's probably a necessary evil. But that's got to be the most boring sex I'm sure that you can possibly have. Cause I'm like, man, what are we doing? Is this a damn doctor's appointment?
My nigga.
Sex is greatest when it's spontaneous. Or y'all been flirting all day. Or she come home, she done took a shower and stuff, and she put on there whatever your outfit is. That you're not like, okay, she already let her brother know it's about to go down. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Scheduling sex just seems just so. That just seems just too routine for me. And like she was stating, so now it's just a check mark. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna do it on the first Friday every month. So that's 12 times a year. So when you start scheduling, now you're gonna know exactly how many times you're gonna have it. Hey, it's 365 days in a year. If you start putting it down as a schedule, you will know exactly how many times you're gonna have sex throughout the year. I don't know, man.
It could be just enough to keep the peace. But what happens when intimacy becomes an obligation rather than a connection? Resentment builds up. Desire disappears. Love starts to feel like a duty, not a joy. Good men struggle with this. This is why good men feel trapped. They try to understand. They try to fix things. They try to be patient. But no matter how much effort they put in, the truth remains. If a woman mentally switches off, nothing, absolutely nothing turns her back on except herself.
He stated there's nothing that man can do if that switch is off but her. My kings, if I got any kings out here that is in this situation, have a talk with your woman. As you see, I am actually married man, so I do actually believe in marriage. But I do understand that, hey, more than half of marriages don't make it. And this is a big reason why. And I understand why men do also tell men that's not married that, hey, marriage might not be the best life decision. And I'm saying that as well because I have a lot of friends, unfortunately, that have been divorced. And so I know both sides of the equation. For men that's dealing with this, you owe it to yourself to be able to have happiness just as much as that woman. If that woman feel like it's a chore or she's withholding sex, hey.
Bye, Felicia.
Because if you not paying attention to her, she gonna go out there and find it. Why you gotta be the bad guy? You deserve to have intimate sex just as much as a man that's not married. Hell, you better off not being married. You better off just being single if your woman just want to withhold it from you.
You a smart motherfucker. That's right.
Hey, sex is important just like they say money is important. Well, sex is important too. And no husband, no man should have to be in a relationship where he don't know when the next time that he gonna damn have sex with his woman. That's insane. And if she can't respect the heart-to-heart conversation that you're having, then, then it may be a decision that you do have to make, because, again, you want to have one life to live as well, and women going to do what's in the best interest of them, because if they ain't happy, they going to be gone. So you're like, hey, well, I ain't happy. Well, I'm about to leave too. If we can't figure out a way to get this sexual part of our marriage relationship right, then there's no need for us to continue with this. So fellas, drop your comments down. Are any of you guys experiencing that? And if you are, is there anything that you're trying to do to resolve this? Or do you know any guys that has went through this? Just drop your comments down below. And as always, kings need thrones. Until next time, peace.